Alright, so I've got my, whoa, got to tighten that bad boy up a little bit. That's live right now, hot. I did a lot of work out here with bubbles and blowing bubbles, helping people to see the invisible. I'm going to do that. I believe I'm going to do that right this morning, and I'll show you what that looks like. The bubbles show the invisible of the wind. I'm going to grab a bubble wand and I'll do the setup like this so I can kind of show you what I got going on with that. The bubbles basically show the action of the wind. We can't see the wind, but we can see the effects of the wind. I'm not going to do a long bubble demonstration. I just wanted to show a little bit of it. So they're actually really pretty and draw a lot of attention, and the children will yell bubbles, the parents will. It's kind of fun, especially with the lighting. It's beautiful. They'll go a long ways down the beach and around the world through the cloud, through the internet, all of that. That's part of what's going on with that. So it's kind of a festive thing. I had an interesting interaction with some college students yesterday. It was a little bit tense because they were pounding up on me. Yeah, they were thinking I was a crazy guy because I believe that we didn't go to the moon and the earth is mostly flat. How about that? Well, those of us who know that we're not on a globe know. That's just the way that is. So there's believing things that we can believe, and then there's things that we can know. It's just how that works. So to put this in the shot, we've got the shower here, and I can't show both views, but there's the ocean. I remember in the water from this shower, the amenity center, all really nice. Down on the main street where I was just before this on the broadcast, there was a guy from another country. I believe it was the Czech Republic. He was doing some naked showering out there. The police had to come and take him away. Yeah, supposed to have your clothes on when you're showering. That's one of the things that I keep in mind. I'm up at any given time of the day. I just have to make sure I'm robed up before I head outside, and I'm good to go. Here's my buddy Nick after a surfing session. We've got an offshore breeze right now. It opens the waves up. Yeah, and I normally mow the lawn when the sun's up. That keeps me out of trouble. Hey, good morning, Nick. Did you get some good rides, man? All right. So in the view over here, I'm gonna, well, let's see, show you the sun appearing from this vantage point, right over the tops of the buildings. And on the horizon over here, we've got the beach renourishment team. Hey, good morning. Hey there. What's his name? Hi. Hi. How are you? Duncan. Good boy. Good boy.
Come on.
How old is he?
He's about 5.
Oh, how sweet.
He's a little bit ornery.
So I meet a lot of interesting people out here. I'm going to zoom in right now. I've got the P1000. You'll notice the zoom feature coming out on the recording or the live broadcast. They're moving a submarine line and equipment in that to pump sand up on the beach. The beach renourishment needs to happen around here because the storms will wash the sand away. It's just what happens. So as it is right now, I'm not believing we live in a computer tower somewhere. There may be some kind of a sophisticated simulation that exceeds what I'm aware of. And I'm going to say it for this reason. I'm going to flip it around. I want to be on both recordings when I say it. Is that we don't know what we don't know. To be intellectually honest, if I were deceived, I would not be aware of it. If you were deceived, you wouldn't know. So the dynamic of interacting with a bunch of college students eating tacos, sometimes it's really cool and they're really wanting to know what I got going on, and other times it can be exactly the opposite. It's a different social dynamic. They can have a posture of arrogance where they believe they know that we went to the moon and the official story of 9/11 is true, whatever the heck that is. It's impossible is what it is. So like I say, people largely believe the lie they want to believe, and artificial intelligence will help make that happen also, because there's going to be evidence even to get the Bible to say what people want it to say. So to be clear, there are Bible believers that are really not, as best I can tell, believing what Scripture says about the biblical creation being a stationary earth with the luminaries, the sun, moon, and stars, moving above us, moving above the stationary earth. So today, in the middle of the view is where the sun would have appeared from this vantage point. We can still see that's the bright spot on the horizon. And in the winter, it will appear way over there. Now, I've got video evidence of that. You can go to my channel if you want to, or my Facebook. And I've recently started to post some of my photo album, eternalperspectivebible.com, on my videos. Now, the link to my Facebook page is there. I believe Twitter is there too. If you're a researcher and you want to really find what I'm about, well, I'm easy to find. I'm easy to find. I hashtag my name a lot. And the reason for that is so that people can go there and check out what I do, what I'm about. The AI is so sophisticated that it actually knows exactly how many minutes I've been live on YouTube, on Facebook, what all my tweets are, everything. Now the recording that I did yesterday, I may have inadvertently hit the wrong button. I may have done something, me personally, that did that. Or it could have been something else. I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that the topics that I'm covering, I will hashtag Elon Musk lies. I believe that tweet has drawn some serious attention. The water is one of the big evidences of the reality of the world that we live in. Higher is drier, lower is wetter, all over the face of the stationary Earth. One of the hashtags I recently did was I just hashtagged water. I want people to look at it. Look at water, what it does, the physics and properties of water. To look at buoyancy, B-U-O-Y-A-N-C-Y. Well, lighter than floats, heavier than falls. That works in the air too. Some people so arrogantly say, if you don't believe gravity is real, go jump off a balcony. No, I know that works. That's buoyancy, you big dummy. There's differences in density and mass. For those people that think themselves highly educated and intelligent, hello. I would say, do you know what a gallon of water weighs? It depends. That depends on the temperature. That temperature differential changes the state of water to either a solid, ice, where it'll float. It displaces, that's buoyancy. It displaces its mass and floats. Then if it gets hot enough, it'll turn into steam and drive turbines. The water seeking its level drives the power grid. Like I say, the density and volume of a given amount of water, let's say a gallon, changes with temperature. It drives the water cycle of the world, the hydrologic cycle of the world. A lot of people don't know that, so I thought you should. I've been mentioning it for a long time. The young man yesterday that I was talking to, I said, explain air travel. How can we travel around the world? I'll say, okay, here's what I've got for you. I've flown from coast to coast. Supposedly there's a rotation of 1,000 miles an hour to the east. On my way from here to California, my combined travel speed would have been over 1,000 miles an hour. And coming from California to here, my destination would be rotating away from me virtually 500 miles an hour faster than I was traveling, meaning it would rotate underneath me 5 days later. And then I get the response, well, gravity holds the atmosphere to the spinning Earth. I would say, yeah, in your imagination. Only. That's the only place it is. Pride is a powerful catalyst for deception. So a proud person is an easily deceived person. That's the way it actually is. It's not make-believe, it's real. There would be no level anywhere in this world if it were moving in over 4 different directions at a combined speed of over 1 million miles an hour. Starting with the most basic, that with 1,000 mile per hour supposed rotation, 1,038 at the equator, it would mean that South America, South Africa, apparently where Elon is from, he would have been upside down. Showering in the water going the opposite direction as that shower I just showed you out over there. No, it doesn't work that way. There's up and down, not upside down in relationship to one another. All our interaction with water exposes the impossibility of the globe. One of the young men said, "Have you climbed mountains? My friend here is a mountain climber. He could see the curve." Yeah, right. Yeah, there's the horizon, and there's no curve on the horizon. 8 inches per mile squared can't be found, except in the imagination. That's where it exists. Let that sink in. I've got hundreds of hours of the audio Bible merged with the beauty of creation showing this. Some recordings or broadcasts are nearly 12 hours long, like from the Gospel of John to the book of Revelation. A little something to consider. Yeah, a lot of something to consider. Are you actually born again? No matter how many of these actual conspiracies you can figure out, unless you're born again, you won't even see the kingdom of heaven. Of course, if you believe that that's all a fairy tale, well, that's just not looking good for you. The wall that I got to was, why was there the inconsistency with my life? Why couldn't I stop doing what I believed I should stop doing? And why was I doing things that I knew I shouldn't be doing? I didn't have the power. Now that I have the power, passion, purpose, and eternal perspective, and the pleasure to enjoy it all, I'm grateful. Even though there's a lot of opposition to telling the truth. By nature, the truth is divisive. It's just the way that it is. The truth divides. And there's the truth in everything else. It doesn't, it's not based on popular opinion. Because quite frankly, the truth isn't popular. Yeah, I can fire that up later. Picked up a big stogie on the beach. My grandpa used to smoke cigars. Gosh, I'm so glad to not be smoking and all of that. And I'm not like shaking my finger at people who are or drinking alcohol. I would simply, for these guys that were very intelligent in their own minds, I said, "Are you brushing with fluoride toothpaste?" He said, "Yeah, of course." I said, "Well, it's toxic. Read the label on it. Why would you put a toxic substance that's designed to impair your cognitive function? Why would you intentionally put that in your body? Because in your mouth is in your brain, ultimately." So I'm in a perpetual detox. I bathe in drinking water. I've got 5-gallon jugs that I fill up and pour into the bathtub and heat up some on the stove, and I'll use either Epsom salt, magnesium sulfate. Today I just did baking soda, a cup of baking soda in about 30 gallons of water with a 1/4 cup of coconut oil in there. I swallow a 1/4 cup of the coconut oil, and then that's brain nourishment, brain food. There's a battle being waged on our minds, on our intellect, our capacity to evaluate information. Keep in mind that AI knows a lot more than we do. So how will we decide what to do? How will we be able to determine that? Are we going to make our decisions based on truth? There was a software consultant I interacted with a couple years ago down at the Point. He said, "Why aren't there people swimming out here?" I said, "Well, I've seen an 8-foot bull shark in this area. And it's not a common thing, but one was caught, and it was a catch and release situation. They caught the shark." Good morning, ladies. They caught the shark, cut the head off, and turned it into fish food and crab food. Part of the ecosystem. Just turned it back into that. Okay. I mention that because he was wondering why people were around but not swimming there then. I said, well, the other thing is it's feeding time. It's not a good time to be there. So Todd is his name, and very, very well-to-do individual, as I'm sure you can imagine. And I said, well, Todd, don't you think it's really important to base your consultation on the truth? He didn't want to hear about the Bible or the shape of the earth or anything else. Keep in mind, anything else that shook up his worldview, that challenged that. In talking about conspiracies, I'll hashtag conspiracies. I've done it. I want to talk about it. 2 kids stealing a bike is a conspiracy. It's an illegal action by more than one person. It's a conspiracy. People are conspiring to do an illegal act. What do you call it when artificial intelligence is presenting a false reality to humanity and manipulating the population of the world, the weather, all of that, the logistics, all of that stuff? High frequency trading on the internet is, on the stock market, is largely done with artificial intelligence. They figure over 60%. I would say that the other 40% is highly manipulated and controlled humanity through the TV, radio. Last night, Joni called me into the other side of the house, the bedroom where she sleeps in. We sleep on opposite ends of the house. How about that? Isn't that special? Well, anyway, she showed me this ship fire that happened, and she said, now watch this. And she showed me what she called satellite imagery. I said, that's high altitude photography. No need for any satellites. That whole thing is a lie. She said, why would they lie about that? I said, it's all part of the grand lie, the grand deception to give people the perspective of a godless cosmic Big Bang. She says, well, I believe in Jesus and I'm born again. I said, I know you say you believe in Jesus, I just don't believe you've been born again yet. Now that may sound like the absolute most harsh thing anybody could say to another human being. The reason why I say it, and I'll keep saying it, I thought I was born again until I actually was. That's why I say that. You're not going to hear that at the storefront, hip, cool church storefronts where they got flowered shirts and fog machines and cappuccino bars and a 501c3 to muzzle them from telling the truth about the battle and the weapons of the warfare of our opponent, our opposition, the enemy of our soul. How about that? I'm zooming in on the where the sun is popping through the clouds. It's a hot spot, okay? And I've got a lot of video of what I call the local sun. It's not just how the sun appears, it's the shadowing, the way that the canopy of clouds appears as well. That's a really big deal. That's what indicates it's not 93 million miles away. So the book of Job says that the sun is in the midst of the clouds. And then, as I've been heard saying almost 1 million times, that the book of Joshua, God stopped the sun from moving. Good morning. And that's a big deal. Some people will say, well, the writers of the Bible, the authors of the Bible were sheep herders and fishermen. How could they know what we know now? Well, they had an advantage. As far as we know, they didn't have the technology that's deceiving humanity right now. At least wasn't being put out on it, but we don't know what we don't know. We don't know how advanced previous civilizations have been, or how many puddles of water with continents rising out of them are there actually. We don't know what we don't know. I'm going to take this and flip it around. This is the Mar Vista, and I'm pointing down at Myrtle Beach, and I'm going to zoom on in, and I'm going to show you what happens with some moisture. We got the ocean of humanity out there, and then I'm going to zoom on in and show you some of the skyline. The yellow spot right there in the middle of the view is the Apache Pier. I believe that the Sky Wheel is just to the left of that building. Can't see it right now because of humidity. Got a couple parasail boats. The tidal activity in Myrtle Beach is like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour past here. There's a lot of water moving around. I'm going to zoom in on the tugboats and in that again. Well, it looks like they're going to fall off the edge of the earth, right? Well, not really. Myrtle Beach is right on the other side of that. I know that. I've been there. So this P1000 camera will zoom in 125 times. That's a big deal. People of all walks of life, literally, come from all over the world to come here to enjoy this area. I'll interact with some of them. We're expecting about 20 million guests here this year. With that in mind, that's a lot of people that will be considering their lives. There's beach outreaches from Campus Crusade. They call it Crew now. Interacted with some of them yesterday. It's pretty unpopular. One of the ladies I talked to, we interacted for a while, and she said she was Catholic, and I said, well, I was Catholic, and I said that's not a biblical Christianity. You should just know that. Take a look at the Dark Ages, the Inquisition, and all of that. She wanted to know what denomination I was. I said I'm a Bible believer. I believe God's word is true. All others are suspect, and I'm actually born again now. I told her some of that. So it's an unpopular thing to hear, to tell people things like that. They don't largely want to hear that. It upsets their world. However, would it be loving or responsible for me to know what I know and not expose that reality? That's why I do it. I care enough to do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take us on back. There we go. Feeding time for the seagulls too. I'm going to end the recording with the P1000, and I'm going to take us back up to the car there. Feel free to call anytime. My anytime number is 1-843-504-1776.